Oh, listen to this. On what authority do you sit, by the way? As a former judge here, we have a rule in the 30th Judicial District that says every single magistrate referee has to be unanimously approved by every circuit, chancery, and criminal court judge. I don't recall your name ever being submitted, sir. When we come back from this 1 minute, 10-second break, I'll tell you the rest of the story. Stay tuned. This is Joyce Riley.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay.
Every Thursday night at 7 on Kcaa, NBC News Radio, AM 1050.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7...
This is Kcaa Loma Linda, the station that leaves no listener behind. CNBC News is next, a courtesy of BuySellMakeOffer.com, where you can post a video about items you have for sale. Sign up now. It's free.
Good morning. I'm Chuck Kamlick, CNBC Radio. All the panic Wall Street felt earlier this week may soon vanish. The Dow is set to rise more than 100 points today after a 600-point rise yesterday. Christmas early on Wall Street. Christmas early at Walmart, too. Walmart will start its holiday layaway program tomorrow, 2 weeks earlier than last year, hoping to get a boost from new Star Wars toys. Amazon will roll out its Prime video streaming service in Japan next month. Netflix begins its video streaming service there next week, the two going head-to-head. Tiffany's sales and profits fell because the strong dollar hurt business overseas. That same dollar kept more tourists at home overseas and stopped them from coming to New York and shopping at Tiffany's store there. The Gap ending a controversial practice that gave workers little or no notice about their schedules. On-call scheduling, it helps stores with their staffing needs but can leave workers in a lurch, not knowing when they're supposed to come in. New York state law says that's against the law. Chuck Kamlick, CNBC Radio.
Hey, Bob, how's business? Is the new website helping?
Not good. I can't figure out how to get the website finished. How did you do it?
Easy. I called Web.com. They built my website for free. Then they promoted it on all the search engines.
Like Google, Yahoo, and Bing?
Exactly. And Web.com has helped grow my business so much, I had to bring on new staff.
Hey, if Web.com did it for you, they're perfect for me.
Call now, 1-800-535-8815. That's 1-800-535-8815. Again, 1-800-535-8815.
This is a public warning of the Breakfast Blahs. And this is my serious voice because the Blahs are serious. Seriously boring and routine breakfasts that turn people into zombies. The cure? Hostess breakfast. Like tasty powdered donuts, fruity blueberry muffins, and rich, flaky danishes. Seriously sweet, seriously delicious. Get them at a nearby store or the Blahs could get you. I'm serious. The sweetest cure for the Breakfast Blahs. Hostess breakfast. Up and eat 'em.
Consider this your invitation to sell. At BuySellMakeOffer.com, you can sell as much as you want for the next 60 days without paying any fees whatsoever. Sound incredible? It is, and it's true. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the new exciting way to sell your stuff online. Make extra money right now. Sell your old car, furniture, video games, household items, clothes, even your home. Sell anything that's legal. Load up your stuff to sell right now at BuySellMakeOffer.com. This is your official invitation to get on board to sell your stuff right now. Free for the next 60 days. And once you see how easy it is, you'll want to sign up for more because there are no item fees. That's right. Take this opportunity to move items from the other guys and sell it for free. You might even win a Samsung tablet, Amazon gift cards, and other cool prizes. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the future of online selling. You can use Skype to talk to your buyer or seller. Plus, you can use video to showcase your items. BuySellMakeOffer.com.
I'm Jim Miller with your Thursday news update on KCAA 1050 AM CNBC News, the station where no listener is left behind. Well, San Bernardino police conducted a traffic enforcement operation yesterday around Indian Springs High School after receiving several calls from parents, school officials, and residents surrounding the schools complaining about speeding and reckless drivers, as well as jaywalking students. And parents near various schools in the city, both agencies decided to work together to address that problem. Now, 25 people have been killed so far this year as a result of 24 traffic collisions, compared to the average of about 12 traffic fatalities a year. In San Bernardino, the outsourcing of a 137-year-old fire department and a proposed $143 per year tax on parcel owners as part of a price for keeping that bankrupt city from catastrophe, according to the city council, which voted 4-3 Monday. The move allows the advice of several sets of consultants, those responsible for post-bankruptcy plan that included outsourcing and new revenues that the council approved, and firefighting experts came against heavy opposition from residents. San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors Tuesday approving a $10.8 million contract with the state to expand a treatment program for mentally ill inmates at the West Valley Detention Center to include inmates from other counties across California. Under its contract with the Department of State Hospitals, West Valley's jail-based competency treatment program tailored to restore mental competency to inmates so they can stand trials for the crimes in which they are accused. At any given time, there's roughly 50 inmates in San Bernardino County's jail system who've been declared by a judge to be mentally incompetent to stand trial. That's what's happening. I'm Jim Miller, KCAA 1050 AM CNBC News, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Tired of spending too much money on an ad and then trying to find your ad in the newspaper, buried among hundreds, even thousands of other ads? Isn't it time you got a great deal when you were trying to sell that car, that dining room set, that refrigerator, or offering your handyman services? Now you can in the Nickel Shopper. For as little as $7.50 per week, your ad can be seen by thousands of eyeballs in the high desert, and they're getting the Nickel Shopper for free. Call today to place your ad in the Nickel Shopper, 760-646-3654, or go to thenickelshopper.com for all the details, 760-646-3654. The Nickel Shopper, now in the IE.
Here's your Money Minute with Market Wrap host Mo Ansari.
If you follow the markets, you've probably been getting seasick lately. But what if I told you that market volatility can be a good thing? If you're a bargain hunter, this is your coupon. So keep your shopping list handy. If you're a long-term investor with plenty of time before retirement, the money going into your 401k each month will buy more shares when the markets are down. And if you have a good financial plan, you can relax while others worry, because that plan will carry you beyond today's headlines. Of course, you should always consider professional guidance before making any financial decisions. That's your Money Minute. I'm Mo Ansari.
For more tips on investing during market volatility and other investment topics, listen to Market Wrap weekdays at 5 p.m. on this station. For a free consultation with Mo Ansari, call 800-388-9700. That's 800-388-9700.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
KCAA.
Good morning, good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. This is Todd's first broadcast with me without Tobin. Welcome, Todd.
Good morning. How are you?
It's a beautiful, beautiful morning. How about you?
Hard to tell. It's a little dark outside.
Oh, come on. You don't have the fluorescent lights above you acting like the sun?
I do not. I'm sitting in a semi-lit room, semi-awake.
Have some coffee.
Yeah, I've already downed one cup. Second cup's ready.
There you go. So gotta say good morning to Brandon. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm well.
You know, I have to say, because I've always arrived at the station at this early hour with my husband, and today it was very dark and very lonely out front of the station this morning as I was jiggling my key to get into the building, and had to rush in.
I've been noticing the evenings have been starting to get a little darker too. You can tell we kind of crested the summer and are heading into autumn here, even though the temperature doesn't seem to show it yet.
No, it was 104 yesterday.
So yeah, I know. You know, it's usually till mid-September before it starts to cool off a little bit.
Indeed. Well, yeah, and it really we don't get fall weather till Halloween, which is, yeah. So
a ways off yet, unfortunately.
We have a great show planned for you today. We're going to be joined in the second half of the hour by Ryan Hagan. He is the political reporter for the San Bernardino Sun, and there's a lot going on in the city of San Bernardino as they work through their bankruptcy and their plan of adjustment and try to get themselves to the point where they're solvent. And so we'll be talking to him about that. But before we really get started, I want to let everybody know all the ways they can listen to KCAA AM 1050. Of course, you can find us at 1050 on the AM dial. You can also find us at KCAA radio.com, where you'll find links to all of our social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You will also find our embedded Ustream feed. You can watch us right on the website there. There's a button where you can listen. Click to listen if you'd rather listen online. If you have an iPhone, you can listen using the TuneIn app, or any Apple device. You can listen using the TuneIn app. If you have an Android device, you can listen to us at kcaaexpress.com. If you have none of the above and you want to listen, you can call to listen at 832-999-1050. That's 832-999-1050. So very interesting stories in the news. Of course, the biggest one is the shooting of those two journalists in Virginia. Have you heard about that, Todd?
Oh, yeah. It's been all over the news, and it's just absolutely a horrific thing. And I guess what was even more awful is that the gentleman who perpetrated this, whose name I don't know that we should be repeating too much because I don't want to make a big deal about
we're not going to
something
say
so awful.
We'll say the shooter.
But he posted video to both Facebook and Twitter within hours of what he did, and apparently got thousands of hits before they took them back down.
Yeah, it's bad. It was I guess this really is workplace violence. He felt that he had been unjustly fired and he was going to get revenge, and he did. And Allison Parker and Adam Ward were killed yesterday morning while reporting live. They're the 9th and 10th journalists killed while on assignment or because of work in the U.S. since 1992. And so, unfortunately, this is not an unusual thing to happen. But you expect it if you're covering the goings on in Fallujah, or you're somewhere else in a war zone. You kind of expect it. You wear the gear. But they were doing a public interest story, in the morning in the United States in Virginia. It's not. Yeah. It's not what you wouldn't expect. You would require hazard gear.
Absolutely. I mean, there are plenty of reporters who are incredibly heroic, who are putting themselves in very dangerous situations to keep the public informed about things that are happening around the world. This was not one of those situations. I mean, they were just out having a little, for lack of a better word, a fluff piece to fill in some time on their news channel. I mean, and there's yet one more person who's in the hospital as well, and so. I'm sure that it's not something that reporters often think of. And in this day and age, we've got more and more people who are sort of self-reporting. We've got lots of bloggers out there going out and doing the same kinds of things. And in this case, this seems to be more of a workplace violence kind of thing. But you don't think about the fact that you really are putting yourself at jeopardy when you become a public figure and you're out on the street.
So the gunman called himself a human powder keg in his alleged manifesto. He wrote a chilling letter where he said he was pushed over the top by the Charleston church massacre and expressed admiration for the killers from Virginia Tech and Columbine. In a 23-page fax to ABC News and follow-up call, both after the attack, the man identified himself as, we're not going to say this, his on-air, he called himself Bryce Williams. That's not his real name. He said he suffered from racial discrimination and bullying at work and was attacked for being black and gay. The church shooting was the tipping point, he wrote, according to ABC News. But my anger has been building steadily. I've been a human powder keg for a while, just waiting to go boom. ABC said the fax arrived about 2 hours after a reporter and cameraman were shot to death on live television in Moneta, Virginia. The gunman killed himself later while he was being chased by authorities. So I think that he was probably just he had some anger issues, and he chose to take it out on them. A lot of times, these people are just angry, and they create a focus for that anger in their minds, and then they act on it.
Yeah, they call it a letter. It was 23 pages. When's the last time anybody sat down and wrote 23 pages of anything? This guy was absolutely furious. and didn't know how to express it and didn't know how to find help, apparently. I mean, he listed apparently in this thing, I mean, just about every name of a serial killer or mass murderer that he could think of. I mean, if you look at, there's several names that they've released on the list. And it's just, I mean, a who's who of evildoers.
So Allison Parker, for both of these, Adam Ward was engaged. Allison Parker had just moved in with her boyfriend. They were both young. Allison, I think, was 24, and Adam was 27. Both of them cut down in really the start of their lives, the start of their careers. And, of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to their families, because this is really horrific. And I don't want to say that the shooter's real name, that the name that I gave was the name he used on air, and I'm not going to say his real name because he doesn't deserve the notoriety for what he did. So, yeah, I mean, that's the unfortunate thing is that he becomes a news story in another one of those bad guy names. I happened to be watching a movie yesterday, back a 1972 movie, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, and here we are still talking about bad guys from 100 years ago. And I'm not sure. It's true. We seem to need to have a need as a society to do that a lot, and I think that we got to try to break the cycle somehow, and not build an aura of excitement around the Bonnie and Clydes and those kinds of people, in that they're killers, and there's nothing exciting about that. That's nothing to be turned into a historical event for anybody in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it's absolutely horrible all the way around. Indeed.
I feel very sad for the gentleman too. I mean, he clearly was disturbed and didn't reach out, and there's lots of places you can reach out, and he didn't work for him. The system didn't work for him.
And I have to say, I feel for his family. I don't feel for him. Maybe the system didn't work, but he was an adult, and so I'm going to respectfully disagree with you there. I think he should have handled himself. You don't go out and shoot people. I feel bad for his family.
Oh yeah, I'm not excusing him by any stretch. I'm not excusing him by any stretch. I'm just saying that I think it's sad that somebody gets to the point where they feel like they have no other way out, that they're doing things like that they're killing themselves, that they're killing other people.
Yep.
It's just very sad.
It is very sad.
And so
and now his family has to deal with the fact that he's
you're right.
He's a serial killer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a mass murderer. Yes, there are only two, but he went out. He was very public. It was a very public way. He's put out a manifesto. He's behaved like all the mass killers and all the serial killers.
Mm-hmm. And in his essence, he bragged about it by posting what he had done.
He did
online. I mean, that's very arrogant and very inappropriate. On top of just the horrific act that he did in the first place.
Yep. So it's time for a break. It's 6:16. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. We'll be right back.
Can't be everything to everyone, or can we? The station that leaves no listener behind, AM 1050 KCAA.
Some days I get a bad case of trichotillomania, an irresistible compulsion to tear out my hair. My latest outbreak was triggered by a New York Times opinion piece by Peter Georgescu, the former chairman of the giant PR outfit Young and Rubicam. He issued a clarion call for his corporate peers to reverse the dangerous widening of income inequality in our country by increasing the paychecks of America's workaday majority. We business leaders know what to do, he wrote, but do we have the will to do it? Apparently, no. But he says he knows just the thing that'll jar the CEOs into action: corporate wage hike subsidies. Yes, he actually wants us taxpayers to give money to bloated, uber-rich corporations so they can pay a dab more to their employees. As Lily Tomlin says, no matter how cynical you get, it's hard to keep up. First of all, paying to get good behavior, would reward bad behavior, completely absolving CEOs and wealthy shareholders of their guilt in creating today's gross inequality. They're the ones who push relentlessly to disempower labor unions, downsize and privatize the workforce, send jobs offshore, defund education and social programs, and otherwise dismantle the framework that once sustained America's healthy middle class. Secondly, Georgescu and Company are proposing that working families be reduced to charity cases, lucky to be given a dollop of aid by generous bosses. He's obviously clueless about the deep democratic yearning that has sparked a rising worker rebellion across our country.
Okay.
People are not seeking handouts, but the economic and political power to lift themselves up. This is Jim Hightower saying, as Larry Hanley, president of the Amalgamated Transit Union, said of Georgescu's offer of charity, strengthen labor laws, and we can have democracy and equality again.
It's time for traffic on KCAA AM 1050. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona, we have stop-and-go traffic on the 91 westbound between McKinley Street and Green River Road. The 71 south is busy between Euclid Avenue and the 91. In Claremont, there's an accident on the shoulder. The shoulder's blocked on the 210 eastbound at Baseline Road at exit 52. In Ontario, we have slow traffic on the 60 westbound between I-15 and the 57 Orange Freeway. The 10 west is slow and go from Milliken to the 57. 210 west is slow in pockets from Haven Avenue to Foothill. In Moreno Valley, we have slow traffic on the I-215 northbound between Alessandro Boulevard and Blaine Street, 3rd Street. In Chino, the off-ramp is closed at 60 eastbound at Mountain Avenue. This is KCAA AM 1050. I'm Erin Brinker. Thanks for listening.
No sooner done than said on AM 1050 KCAA.
Hi, I'm John Elway. Did you know that John Elway's Crown Toyota is the largest volume Toyota dealer in the Inland Empire? Here to give you the details is the General Sales Manager, Kara Brindley.
Well, John Elway's Crown Toyota, we listen to you. And ever since we've changed to our new process, we post our one price, which is our best price, up front on every single vehicle. Now, customers are telling me they look forward to buying their next car from us.
So come visit John Elway's Crown Toyota today in the Giant Ontario Auto Center where the 10 and 15 meet.
One price, simple, no games.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way. It's time for the KCAA Community Calendar, brought to you exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools. The clear mission of Learn for Life is to motivate and mentor students who have dropped out of school and provide them with the personalized education and technical training necessary to advance their lives.
Here's a look at the KCAA Community Calendar. I'm Di Rice. Experience the West's railway heritage with the largest collection of locomotives, passenger cars, freight cars, and cabooses at the Orange Empire Railway Museum in Paris. Take a ride on the museum's demonstration railway and feel the clickety-clack of street wheels. Hear the train whistles and streetcar bells. Get a grand tour, visit the gift shop, and learn about the West's railway heritage dating back to the 1870s. Trolleys and trains operate every Saturday and Sunday from 11 until 5 p.m., including major holidays. Steam trains run every third Saturday and Sunday of the month, and special events are held throughout the year, including a major annual fall event and a spring rail festival. Make plans to check out the Orange Empire Railway Museum located at South A Street in Paris. Call 951-943-3020 for more information. That's 951-943-3020, or go to oerm.org for the Orange Empire Railway Museum. And that's a look at the community calendar on KCAA 1050 AM.
The KCAA Community Calendar is presented exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools where students can complete their education on a part-time basis. To find a resource center nearest you, call 1-877-360-LEARN or visit Learn for Life online at learn4life.org.
This report has been brought to you by Big O Tires. It's the Big O Tires Buy 3, Get 1 free sale. Buy 3 select tires, get the 4th free. See Big O Tires for details. Offer ends July 6th. For your nearest participating location, go to bigotires.com.
The most diversified radio station on the dial, AM 1050 KCAA.
The streets of my new city.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. That song sounds very French, Brandon.
Oui, oui.
But it's not.
It's not. It does, but the accordion sounds very French. So before we left for the break, we were talking about the shootings of the two journalists. Well, the journalist and a photographer, a cameraman in Virginia. And Todd, during the break, you brought up an important point, and why don't you follow up on that?
Yeah, I mentioned there's people and places that you can reach out. One of those places is the Crisis Call Center at crisiscallcenter.org. They're part of the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline Network, and they do great work just in providing a place for people to reach out. So I just want to give out that 800 number. If anybody ever feels stressed and feel like that they're even getting close to the point of doing something to themselves or to somebody else, they should call and talk to somebody. That number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255.
Or go to crisiscallcenter.org. So that's a great point. I mean, the reality is this man was in deep trouble. Most people don't get homicidal ideation. They'll just get suicidal ideation or have that to deal with. And either way, you need to call somebody. And this is, it's confidential, rather. It's not that you're telling your boss. It's not that you're telling your spouse or whatever. You're doing this just so that you can get some help.
Absolutely. It's just somebody to talk to help you understand the situation and to show some empathy, and then perhaps get you some help maybe closer to home. This is it's an 800. It's a national number. They're a Nevada-based organization, but it's interesting too because Nevada has a 211 number. Like we have a 411 or a 911 for information or for emergencies. But the 211 number is a crisis prevention center, and they're one of the call centers that handles that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize that kind of thing existed. I thought that was pretty interesting too.
Well,
something maybe we should make more national and more public, that people are aware of that.
Exactly. Well, in San Bernardino County, 211 is the number that you call if you need any kind of services. If you're looking for housing, if you're looking for, you need food, you need clothing, you need, basic supplies, you need counseling, you call 211 in San Bernardino County, and you can find, they'll help you find resources for you. It's really good service.
Yeah.
So on something a little more closer to home than the Virginia story, the World Logistics Center, the final vote in Moreno Valley was filled with tension. And if we've talked about this a little bit on the show, and the city of Moreno Valley is deciding whether to allow this massive, and it's like 70 football fields. It's massive.
700 football fields.
Oh,
check your numbers there.
Check
it's
my
huge.
numbers. I need another zero. My brain just couldn't fathom that, so I took a zero off. So
yeah, it's a big place.
It's a big place. So less than a week after approving the World Logistics Center, and they just approved it last week, the City Council passed the final ordinance on Tuesday, August 25th, to go ahead with the controversial 40.6 million square foot warehouse complex. And my brain cannot wrap itself around that number. At the August 19th meeting, the vote was 3-2 with Mayor Jesse Molina and council members Christian Gutierrez and Jeffrey Giba in favor. Council members George Price and LaDonna Jemson voted no. Second readings are usually low-key, routine actions, but about 50 supporters and opponents showed up with more than 20 speaking. Tensions continued between the two sides, with supporters criticizing those who oppose the project. Supporter Luis Palomares called the two council members who voted against it Judases. So now it's reached religious proportions. Developer Ido Benzivi said that the project, which will transform the city's east side, will provide thousands of jobs and improve the city's economy. But opponents say it's the wrong area for such a large project. The size of 700 football fields. It will clog the roads and freeways and increase air pollution. Approval of a second reading for an ordinance is typically done with 2 weeks after the first vote, interim city attorney Steve Quintanilla said in an interview on Monday. However, since the council had regular meetings scheduled for Tuesday, the vote was brought up earlier. So, the thing that strikes me about this is if anybody who's ever been out on the 60 freeway and going east into Moreno Valley from Riverside knows that no matter what time of day or night you go down that freeway, it's clogged. And the 215, I know that Caltrans is in the process of widening the 215. They're doing work in Paris and Menifee in that area. But I don't know that it's going to be able to handle the extra traffic. We're talking a lot more trucks. What do you think, Todd?
I think that, I live in Corona, so I'm used to I'm used to a freeway that just doesn't move. And I know they're doing a lot of work widening the freeway through Corona as well. I imagine that a large portion of the traffic is going to flow towards Orange County and Los Angeles, which means more trucks out on the 91 as well. I'm not sure that our infrastructure can handle it. If you look at the Southland, we've got freeways under construction everywhere, just trying to expand it to handle the current traffic load. By the time those projects are going to be done, I expect that we're already going to be, filling them. And so I just don't know we have the infrastructure to put that out there because we don't have the proper channels to get it into the population centers.
Exactly. And I totally agree. In the 60 freeway, anybody who's been through that area knows that there are businesses on either side that come right up against the freeway. They built the businesses along that freeway so close to the freeway that there's really no room for that freeway to expand, and that's why it hasn't been widened in all of these years. I don't know that they can fix that without having to buy up all of those businesses, which would be horrifically expensive, and then trying to widen the freeway. So, I think that this is not a good idea. Here's the other reason, too, and I think people might be remembering this. The Inland Empire was hit especially hard in the Great Recession of 2008, and it's just now really recovering. And part of that is because we are so heavily dependent upon two industries. One of them is transportation and logistics, and the other one is construction. And to continue bringing in more of the same makes it still more of the same. People don't necessarily want to have the only industry or the largest industries being the ones that are so dependent upon the economy being vibrant and very vibrant.
Yeah, it's putting in a lot of eggs in one basket there, and you're trusting that everything's going to be bouncing along smoothly, and that's not necessarily the case, as we've all seen. And then you're going to have this ghost town sitting out there that is ginormous.
Exactly, and that's not good either. There's been at least one environmental group, the Jurupa Valley-based Center for Community Action and Environmental Justice. They have announced plans to file a lawsuit, but other conservation groups say they're planning to work in challenging the city's approval. Critics say that the city's environmental analysis of traffic and air pollution impacts was flawed. Riverside City officials say that they are also considering litigation. The project's environmental study has been criticized by state and regional air pollution agencies, conservation groups, transportation agencies, including Caltrans, and neighboring jurisdictions, including the cities of Riverside, Redlands, and Riverside County. They say that the analysis did not meet the legal requirements. So we will keep you posted on this story. It's already time for another break. It's 6:31. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on Kcaa AM 1050. When we come back, we'll be talking with Ryan Hagan from the San Bernardino Sun. We'll be right back.
Kcaa Radio, AM 1050. Hey, tell a friend. AM 1050.
California headline news. The suspect in that awful shooting in Virginia Wednesday that left a reporter and TV news photographer dead has deep ties to the Bay Area. Vester Flanagan spent many years there attending Skyline High in Oakland, where a former schoolmate said he was popular.
It's unbelievable because Vester's such a happy person. He was our prom king in his junior year. At the time, everybody loved him.
Flanagan worked for a time at the San Francisco CBS TV station. His family issuing a statement expressing their condolences to the families of the victims. Flanagan killed killed himself. San Francisco police detailing pursuit and arrest of 2 suspects in the mugging and shooting of a Taiwanese tourist.
Short of it not happening at all, pretty good police work by a very quick-thinking officer and a captain who's got his officers deployed in the right place.
Chief Greg Surr says this was a robbery. The suspect may be tied to a series of property crimes. Firefighters getting close to containing the last of a series of fires they've been battling in Lake County. Geico weather, increasing heat, dry conditions. Jeff Scott, California News.
What's that sound you're hearing, California? Might sound like a regular train. It's not. It's a savings train. And the lucky people boarding it just switched to Geico and saved money on their car insurance.
All aboard! Next stop, Cha-Ching City! Then on to Blissburg!
Yep, California. That's the sound of savings.
For a free rate quote, visit geico.com and see how much you could save. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And now, a touching moment. Well, staying in touch with Geico.
It was a warm summer day. I was just sitting on a porch watching a babbling brook roll by. Then, out of the blue, I got an update from my Geico app saying my claim had been processed. I felt so connected to nature, to Geico. I stayed there the whole afternoon until that guy told me to stop trespassing on his porch. Sheesh, what was his problem?
Claim status updates just a few taps away on the Geico app.
From the Kcaa Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard for this morning. We've got sunny skies and a high near 100. Tonight will be mostly clear with a low near 72. Friday, sunny with a high near 101. Friday night, mostly clear, low near 71. Saturday, sunny with a high near 97. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low near 68. Sunday, sunny and a high near 90. Sunday night, partly cloudy with a low near 64. Monday, mostly sunny with a high near 86. Monday night, partly cloudy, a low near 60. Tuesday, mostly sunny skies, a high near 84. Tuesday night, partly cloudy, a low near 59. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, a high once again near 84. That's your weather forecast for this hour from the station that leaves no listener behind, NBC News Radio, AM 1050 KCAA.
The most diversified radio station on the dial, AM 1050 KCAA.
Empire talks back.
The attitude that, well, the little guy cannot win seems to prevail, despite the fact that over time we've seen that the little guy, if he is persistent, he becomes the big guy.
Empire talks back.
No, it's because maybe people figure out a little knowledge is like smoke. It leads to the fire.
Empire talks back.
I think this drive for equality, this drive for justice is gathering steam as opposed to fading out. I think more and more people realize the importance of the freedoms that America represents.
Empire Talks Back with Wallace Allen and Friends, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. on AM 1050 KCAA.
But now it seems like things are finally coming around.
KCAA invites you to listen to professional money manager Bill Gunderson every weekday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. Bill Gunderson is a highly respected money manager. He's a regular contributor to MarketWatch, TheStreet.com, and Town Hall Finance. Gunderson has appeared many times on the Fox News Channel, the Fox Business Network, and CNBC. You can hear Bill Gunderson's daily insight into the market at 7 a.m. weekdays, right here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Thank you, Inland Empire, for listening to KCAA Radio.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. So excited to be joined by Ryan Hagan from the San Bernardino Sun. He reports on all of this goings on in the city, all the political goings on in the city, and it's certainly an exciting time for the city of San Bernardino right now. Ryan, welcome back to the show.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for having me back. It definitely is exciting.
To say the very, very least. So they're duking it out right now over this fire department issue. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think as certainly you and probably your listeners know, it's been a long time coming, a lot of battles over time, but they've now voted, the city council has, as narrowly as they could, 4-3, to go forward with a plan that will outsource the fire department to actually have it annexed into the San Bernardino County Fire Protection District, meaning that County Fire would be responsible for the city's fire services. And with that comes $143 a year parcel tax on any personal owners. So there's some that can be protested by residents, and we can go into that later. But that's the plan, is to outsource the fire department.
So the tax vote was 6-1, but the vote to outsource the fire department was 4-3. Why was there a different level of support for the tax than there was for actually outsourcing the fire department? And who voted differently between the two votes, and why?
The 6-1 vote was for the plan of adjustment a couple of months back.
Yes, but they didn't they just. Okay, so I'm a little confused. They had the plan of adjustment. We know about that one, and then which included the plan to outsource the fire department. And didn't they have to have another vote to then actually vote to outsource the fire department, or was the one from accepting the plan of adjustment already make that happen?
No, so back in May, they voted 6-1. That this is what we plan to do. This is our plan. It relies on outsourcing, including the fire department. But it was sort of it was more of a document of principles. It didn't say there was going to be a parcel tax of exactly $143. It didn't say this is what the service will be. It was more general steps because they hadn't gotten the plans yet at that point.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
And on Monday they voted on the actual proposal itself, as they will for all of the pieces of the plan, to actually implement that portion of it. And so then when the rubber hit the road, two additional council members, Nina Barrios and Henry Nickel, in addition to John Rody, who voted against both, said that no, they didn't think that this was a good move. That in Nina Barrios' case, he said that he was convinced this summer, after doing a ride-along with city firefighters, that they were just a rogue job and should remain in place. That's something only they should do. And for Henry Nickel, I think it was more about the tax and what the impact of that might be. It was a long discussion. I think there were a lot of different threads. That I guess was kind of the gist of his opposition, was that although he voted for a plan that said revenue needs to be raised, when it came to this particular tax on this particular day, he was not for it.
So let me have some perspective here, and I think Todd wanted to jump in too. Todd, you get the next question.
Sure.
The perspective that I have is, if they've already given the plan of adjustment and judge jury has accepted that plan of a plan of adjustment, and Judge Meredith jury is the bankruptcy court judge in Riverside that's been working with the city of San Bernardino since, for the 3 years that the city's been in bankruptcy. If they decided not to outsource fire, which was a big part of the proposal, couldn't she then kick the city out of bankruptcy?
That's certainly what the city said. Look, we put ourselves behind this document. We said this was our plan. We have to make a good faith effort to implement that plan. If we don't do that, we lose face with creditors. The put creditors presumably then file lawsuits saying you need to pay us with this, perhaps with this money that you would have saved on the fire department, perhaps making a broader claim that you guys are not doing this in good faith. The judge could then find in their favor and kick the city out of bankruptcy court, which removes the protections that are stopping those creditors from collecting debts that are more than the city can afford to pay.
Wow.
So, Ryan, the city has been paying for their fire services out of their general fund, and now that they're outsourcing it, why is it that they need this additional tax? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people in San Bernardino who are going, why do I have to pay more for something that I thought I was already paying for in my general taxes?
Yeah, there definitely was some opposition to that, saying if it's saving money, then that's one thing. So why do we need a tax if it's saving money? Basically, it seems like for it to work for the county, they needed a certain amount of money, and so the city does not want to additionally supplement from its general fund. Because that's basically what the plan calls for. That was I mentioned Henry Nickel, who was one of the people who changed his vote. For a while he was pushing to do that, to outsource without doing the parcel tax. But the city management was saying that that was problematic, because just financially problematic, that they would need to borrow additional money from the city's general fund, and that would mean cutting additional services, because the city is currently spending basically spending more money than it has right now.
Right. So they're saying that the city's overextended already. But then does that new tax revenue go to the city and then get paid to the county, or will it go directly to the county? Because if it goes to the city, is there any guarantee that it actually all goes to the county, or does the city siphon off some to go to other things as well?
So the county will get what it needs. That doesn't seem to be in question. And then the city gets it should be about $8 million if you do the arithmetic of parcels times $143. And so that does then that money additionally goes to the city's general fund, and that was also where there was some hesitation on Monday night when they voted on this, was saying, how do we know that this is going to go to good projects and not just sort of the wasted money that the city spends on projects we don't support.
Mm-hmm. So I am wondering if they have to raise the money to outsource, by doing this was $146 parcel tax, $143 parcel tax. Couldn't that same parcel tax used to keep the city of San Bernardino's fire department? I mean, if they're creating a new tax anyway, is that tax enough to pay for what's already there?
Yeah, and that's certainly an argument that was made, and you could make up the difference that way, and I think the city kind of avoided saying this directly, but I think a key part of it is that normally to implement a tax, you need to have a 2/3 majority vote, whereas by annexing yourself into a fire protection district, there is not a vote of the public. There is instead just an opportunity for the public to protest, and if at least 25% protest, then there's an election. But if not, assuming you get LAFCO approval, then it happens.
Now, have you had a conversation with LAFCO about what they will do and when they will address, all of the issues?
Yeah, the executive of LAFCO, Kathleen Owens-McDonald, was actually at the meeting Monday, which made it relatively convenient for me. And so they are scheduling a series of meetings once the city kind of formally presents what they have, which should be within 2 months. There'll be a series of public meetings, and they'll review the proposal, make sure that it's sustainable for the fire district, and review other portions of it. And as I said, if it's protested by enough parcel owner, if it's protested by enough registered voters or property owners, either of those groups sort of separately, into an election, then there'll be an election.
Now, have you had a conversation with the people who are opposing this measure? Who are the people who are leading the opposition? I mean, obviously the firefighters union is going to be engaged in that, and I'm sure. But who else in the city is engaged in that, and how much momentum have they gotten in this short period of time?
They do seem to have gotten a fair amount of momentum. Even on Monday, it was kind of dispersed with, various residents who were just saying, "Hey, what's happening with this?" They formed a Facebook group and kind of are looking at the formal protest process. So I don't know that there's a leader of it per se, but I've and so I haven't necessarily kind of here's here's our game plan, had a sit-down conversation with them in that sense. But I've certainly heard from them, on social media and by email. People are saying, here's something we don't like about this. Here's, have you looked into, are they allowed to do this? Are they allowed to do that? Are we allowed to do this to fight it? Are we allowed to do that? And certainly there's going to be there's certainly going to be some opposition, and I think it's still coalescing. But as I said, there's already a Facebook group, and we'll see where it goes from there.
So we have to take a break. Will you stay with us during the break?
I will.
So I'm so excited. We're talking to Ryan Hagan. It's always a treat to talk to Ryan. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, and we'll be right back.
This is KCAA.
As the owner of my business, I wear a lot of hats. I'm accounting, sales, and so much more. But I don't know marketing.
Let Dex Media be your marketing department. Our team can create a digital plan for you with everything from search to social. Contact Dex Media, that's DEX Media, to get found, get chosen, and get talked about.
Whoa, that's a job for cleanup, which would be me.
Call 844-230-3436 or visit dexmedia.com today.
Are you looking for the right place to purchase your landscaping items? Well, come see us at Hydroscape. Hydroscape offers a large selection of irrigation products including Irritrol and Toro, such as their efficient precision nozzles. For 40 years, Hydroscape has been family-owned and operated, serving Southern California. With 17 locations, our knowledgeable and experienced staff is equipped to help you with all your irrigation, landscape, and outdoor living projects. Whether you're installing irrigation systems, wanting to maintain a healthy landscape, or simply create a beautiful lit space for outdoor entertaining, Hydroscape is the place to go. Visit our website at hydroscape.com for more information and find helpful articles on our blog. Or call our customer service center at 1-800-395-4477.
Miss one of your favorite shows? Don't worry, we've got your radio DVR right here on KCAAradio.com. Log on and listen to any show you want, anytime you want, on KCAA 1050 AM.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, and we're talking with Ryan Hagan. He is the political reporter for the San Bernardino Sun, and we're talking about the plan to outsource the fire department and to raise $143 parcel tax for each homeowner in the city of San Bernardino. And Ryan, what is the next step? I know that you said that there's a Facebook page that they've created, that the opponents have created to kind of organize themselves. What is the next step for both sides?
Yeah, so there was lawsuits filed by the fire department continue for one thing. The judge has said the city is allowed to outsource. She made that determination earlier this summer. But they're saying that they're also alleging, among other litigation, that the noticing process isn't going properly. They said they do intend to file an additional lawsuit just about this process. So we'll see how that looks when it's filed. So that could derail things there. From the city's side, they have to prepare their application to LASCO. Which as we went over, is the organization that needs to approve this. And the city manager indicated at Monday's meeting that he should have the negotiations with county fire finalized and the LASCO application submittal ready, continuing those negotiations within 60 days.
So this is going to go quick. If now the fire department sues the city all the time, how is this one different? And can it halt the process?
Well, obviously that's what they hope. As I said, the judge has already ruled that outsourcing in general and outsourcing of the fire department in specific is allowable under the city charter, which was one of their main objections. She's kind of indicated in past hearings that she's not inclined to implement a temporary restraining order or anything of that to stop the city's process, which is what the fire department wants. Of course, you could always see an exception in one case. As you said, it's moving very quickly, and the reason for that is that there's a pretty tight timeline. If the city wants to get it done by July 1st of next year, and usually these things happen at the beginning of a fiscal year. So if you miss that July 1st deadline to get your LAFCO approval and all your other ducks in a line, you might have to wait an additional year, which of course the city would rather not, because that's another year of lost savings and tax revenue and opposition. So.
You'd mentioned the city plan earlier. Are there plans to outsource any other city services?
Yeah, there's ongoing efforts right now, in particular with integrated waste or trash collection, that there are bids have already been, bids have already been solicited. They put out a request for proposals on that, so that should happen pretty soon here. There are about 10 different aspects that are kind of specifically called out by the city's consultants as places where the city should look at potentially outsourcing. Really, nothing is not outsourceable. They're looking at it all.
And is there a plan to do any additional taxes to fund those, or is this one going to try to cover all of that? Or no?
Yeah, well, there are. The plan it does call. I don't recall offhand the number of, but there's a certain revenue number they need to reach in the plan. The one key thing that they're uncertain about is it's an existing Measure Z tax, and if that is not extended in a couple of years, that's kind of the other big opportunity. That residents could say, look, we don't want any more taxes. In fact, we want less. And if they do that, that shoots a big hole in the city's plan. But yeah, they are looking in a general sense at raising revenue, aka taxes, where they can.
Mm-hmm.
So when is the next time that the city is going to be talking about this? Will this be at the next council meeting? Or are they going to be having any special meetings? When can the community engage with the city?
Yeah, so the only time that I'm sort of explicitly aware of will be in 60 days, roughly, when kind of the formal agreement with the county comes back for the city to approve. And so at that point, residents will have their chance to say, we don't support this because of X, Y, or Z. And, if they're able to convince even one council member, that changes it from a 4-3 majority to a 3-4 failed vote. So that would certainly be a time for the community to potentially make a big impact there. And there might be additional discussions before that as well, but I don't have specific dates.
Well, we are so excited and thrilled that you joined us today, and we hope that you come back as this story and other stories in the city develop. So Ryan Hagan is a political reporter with the San Bernardino Sun, and he's definitely the guy in the know. So Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on.
So lots of things going on in San Bernardino. Todd, what do you think?
Well, it sounds like the city is trying to do things to manage to keep their services up and going. The question remains is, how the courts are going to settle it out and whether the people want to pay for those services. You don't get something for nothing. And so the question is the money being managed properly, and people, vote with their vote. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
I understand the desire to have to say no to the taxes, because we already have the highest sales tax, and you know, there's a thought there that tax money is wasted, although I don't think it's true. I think they've cut any bit of fat or waste out of their budget because of the bankruptcy. But the reality is that if we don't do this, then the judge could throw us out of bankruptcy. And at that point, the creditors can come in and start repossessing cars, taking buildings and property. I mean, we have the idea that we're going to be able to turn this down and keep what we have now. It may not work, because the city of San Bernardino has already been in bankruptcy for more than 3 years, and the judge she's already said, let's get this done. She's already said, given us the right deadline. But I'm very, very interested to hear the community, what they have to say on either side of this, and so we'll definitely be talking about this on this show. I gotta say one other thing before because we're almost out of time here. And Temecula is having a Hatch Chili Festival. And if you all have never had a Hatch Chili, you're missing out. These chilies are from Hatch, New Mexico, and they are absolutely wonderful. For the first Hatch Chili Festival in Temecula, the organizer, Raquel Anthony, trucked in 400 pounds of chilies from New Mexico. Now, 6 years later, the popularity of the event has grown so much. 10,000 pounds will arrive Friday ahead of the weekend's festival. It is this weekend at Town Square Park in Old Town Temecula, the 29th and the 30th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you got to go to that and check it out. So we're at the end of our show. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. Tomorrow we'll be talking with Kcaa Holly from the Girl Scouts of San Gregorio Council. Should be a fun show. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Hi, it's Brad Dalius, host of the Beat Pod Show.
This is KCAA Loma Linda, the station that leaves no listener behind. CNBC News is next, a courtesy of BuySellMakeOffer.com, where you can post a video about items you have for sale. Sign up now. It's free.
I'm John Lesher, CNBC Radio. The Dow is up more than 200 points after rising 600 points yesterday. The U.S. economy posted a much bigger rebound in growth during the spring than previously reported. The Commerce Department credits the 3.7% surge to improvements in a number of areas.